Dandava Pranams, good morning. We're going to continue the reading of Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta. And we are in Antya-līlā chapter 1, Rūpa Gosvāmī's meeting with the Lord. Jai Jai Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki Jai, Śrīla Krishna Das Kaviraj Gosvāmī Prabhu ki Jai, Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Maybe you can give darshan of the Lord since it's still open, the curtains. Jai Śrīla Gurudev, Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhar ki Jai. Eka Dina Rūpa Korena Natak Likana Achambite Mahaprabhura Haila Agamana. One day, while Rūpa Gosvāmī was writing his book, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly appeared. Sambrame Dunhe Uti Dandava Haila Dunhe Alingiya Prabhu Asane Vasila. As soon as Haridas Thakur and Rūpa Gosvāmī saw the Lord coming, they both stood up and then fell down to offer him their respectful obeisances. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu embraced them both and they sat down. Kia punti lika, boli eka patra nila, aksara de kiya Prabhu mone suki haila. The Lord inquired, "What kind of book are you writing?" He held up a palm leaf that was a page of the manuscript. And when he saw the fine handwriting, his mind was very pleased. Sri Rupera Aksara Jena Mukutara Panti Prita Hanya Korena Prabhu Aksarera Stuti. Thus being pleased, the Lord praised the writing by saying, "The handwriting of Rūpa Gosvāmī is just like rows of pearls." Sei Patre Prabhu Eka Sloka Je Tequila Padite Sloka Preme Avista Haila. While reading the manuscript, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu saw a verse on that page, and as soon as he read it, he was overwhelmed by ecstatic love. And there is a long verse here, I'm just going to read the translation. I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. This verse is included in the Vidagdha Madhava 1.15, a 7-act play written by Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī describing the pastimes of Sri Krishna in Vrindavan. Can you give that some? Sloka Suni Haridas Haila Ulasi Nachite Lagila Slokera Artha Prasamsi. When Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu chanted this verse, Haridas Thakur, upon hearing the vibration, became jubilant and began dancing and praising its meaning. Krishna Namera Mahima Shastra Sadhu Mukhe Jani Namera Madhuri Aiche Kahan Nahi Suni. One has to learn about the beauty and transcendental position of the holy name of the Lord by hearing the revealed scriptures from the mouths of devotees. Now here else can we hear of the sweetness of the Lord's holy name. Purport. It is said in the Padma Purana, Ata Si Krishna Namadi Na Babed Grahyam Indriyai. Chanting and hearing of the transcendental holy name of the Lord cannot be performed by the ordinary senses. The transcendental vibration of the Lord's holy name is completely spiritual. Thus, it must be received from spiritual sources and must be chanted after having been heard from a spiritual master. One who hears the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra must receive it from the spiritual master by oral reception. Srila Sanatana Gosvāmī has forbidden us to hear the holy name of Krishna chanted by non-Vaishnavas, such as professional actors and singers, for it will have no effect. It is like milk touched by the lips of a serpent, as stated in the Padma Purana. A Vaishnava Mukod Girnam Putam Hari Katamritam Savanam Naiva Kartavyam Sarposhistam Yatha Paja. As far as possible, therefore, the devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement gather to chant the holy name of Krishna in public so that both the chanters and the listeners may benefit. Tobe Mahaprabhu Dunhe Kori Alingana Madhyana Korite Samudre Korila Gamana. Thus Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu embraced both Haridas and Rūpa Gosvāmī and left for the seaside to perform his noontime duties. Aradina Mahaprabhu Deki Jagannatha Sarvabhauma Ramananda Swarupadi Sata Sabe Mili Choli Aila Sri Rupe Milite Pathe Tanra Guna Savare Lagila Kohite. On the next day, after visiting the temple of Jagannath as usual, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu met Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy, and Swarup Damodar. They all went together to Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī, and on the way the Lord greatly praised his qualities. Duis loka kohi prabhura haila mahasuka niya bhaktera guna kohe hanya pancha mukha. Don't put them too closely because that's Mahaprasad and that's Bhoga. And purify your hands so that Duis loka kohi prabhura haila mahasuka. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhar Ki Jai. Duis loka kohi prabhura haila mahasuka Nija bhaktera guna kohe hanya pancha mukha. When Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu recited the two important verses, he felt great pleasure. Thus, as if he had 5 mouths, he began to praise his devotee. Purport: the two verses referred to are those beginning with Priya So Yam and Tunde Tandavini. Sarvabhauma Ramanande Pariksha Korite Sri Rupera Guna Dunhare Lagila Kohite. Just to examine Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Ramananda Roy, the Lord began to praise the transcendental qualities of Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī before them. Ishvara Swabhava Bhaktera Nalaya Naloy Aparadha Alpa Seva Bahu Mane Atma Parjanta Prasada. Characteristically, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not take seriously an offense committed by a pure devotee. The Lord accepts whatever small service a devotee renders as being such a great service that he is prepared to give even himself, not to speak of other benedictions. And there is another long verse from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Purushottama, the greatest of all persons, has a pure mind. He is so gentle that even if his servant is implicated in a great offense, he does not take it very seriously. Indeed, if his servant renders some small service, the Lord accepts it as being very great. Even if an envious person blasphemes the Lord never manifests anger against him. Such are his great qualities. Bhakta Sange Prabhu Aila Deki Dui Jana Dandavat Hanya Kaila Charana Bandana. When Haridas Thakur and Rūpa Gosvāmī saw that Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu had come with his intimate devotees, they both immediately fell down like logs and offered prayers to their lotus feet. Bhakta Sange Koila Prabhu Dunhare Milana Pindate Vasila Prabhu Lanya Bhaktagana. Thus, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal devotees met Rūpa Gosvāmī and Haridas Thakur. The Lord then sat down in an elevated place with his devotees. Rūpa Haridasa Dunhe Vasila Pinda Tole Sabara Agrahe Na Utila Pindare Upare. Rūpa Gosvāmī and Haridas Thakur sat at the foot of the elevated place where Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting. Although everyone asked them to sit on the same level as the Lord and his associates, they did not do so. Purva Sloka Pada Rūpa Prabhu Anya Koila Lajate na pode Rūpa Mauna Darila. When Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Rūpa Gosvāmī to read the verse that they had previously heard, Rūpa Gosvāmī, because of great shyness, did not read it, but instead remained silent. Swarupa Goswami Tabe 6 Loka Podila Suni Savakara Chite Chamatkara Hoila. Then Swarup Damodar Goswami recited the verse, and when all the devotees heard it, their minds were struck with wonder. And I'm just going to read the translation of that verse. My dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of the Yamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the 5th note within that forest of Vrindavan. Raya Bhattacharya bole, Tomara prasada vine, Tomara hridaya ei, Janila kemone. After hearing this verse, both Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, without your special mercy, how could this Rūpa Gosvāmī have understood your mind? Amate Sanchori Purve Kohila Siddhanta, Jesava Siddhante, Brahma Nohi Paya Anta. Srila Ramananda Roy admitted that previously Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu had empowered his heart so that he could express elevated and conclusive statements to which even Lord Brahma has no access. Tate jani purve tomara panache prasada, taha vina nahe tomara hrida janu vada. Had you not previously bestowed your mercy on him, they said, it could not have been possible for him to express your internal feelings. Purport. Devotees acknowledge Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy upon Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī in the following words. Śrī Caitanya manovistam stapitam jena bhutale swayam Rūpa kadamahyam dadati svapadantikam. When will Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī Prabhupada, who had established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? The special function of Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī is to establish the feelings of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. These feelings are his desires that his special mercy be spread throughout the world in this Kali Yuga. Pritiviti ache jata nagaradi grama sarvatra prachara hoibe mora nama. His desire is that all over the world, everyone, in every village and every town, known of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his Sankirtan movement. These are the inner feelings of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī committed to write all these feelings of the Lord. Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī committed to write all these feelings of the Lord. Now again, by the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the same feelings are being spread all over the world by the servants of the Goswāmis, and devotees who are pure and simple will appreciate this attempt. As concluded by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, however, those who are on the level of hogs and dogs will never appreciate such a great attempt. Yet, this does not matter to the preachers of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's cult, for all over the world they will continue to perform this responsible work, even though persons who are like cats and dogs do not appreciate them. Prabhu kaha Rūpa nata kera sloka, jai sloka sunili lokera jai dukha soka. Thus, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Rūpa, please recite that verse from your drama which, upon being heard, make all people's unhappiness and lamentation go away." Bara bara Prabhu Jodi Tare Antya-līlā, Tobe seis loka Rūpa Gosvāmī kohila. When the Lord persisted in asking this again and again, Rūpa Gosvāmī recited that verse as follows. I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. Jata Bhakta Brinda Ara Ramananda Roy, Sloka Suni Savara Haila Ananda Vismaya. When all the devotees of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, especially Sri Ramananda Roy, heard this verse, they were all filled with transcendental bliss and were struck with wonder. Sabe bole, Nama Mahima Sunichaji Apara, Emana Madhurya Keha Nahi Varne Ara. Everyone admitted that although they had heard many statements glorifying the holy name of the Lord, they had never heard such sweet descriptions as those of Rūpa Gosvāmī. Raya kohe, kon granta kore hena jani, jahara vitore ei sidantera kani. Ramananda Roy inquired, what kind of drama are you writing? We can understand that it is a mind of conclusive statements. Swarupa coge Krishna Lilara Nataka Korite Braya Lila Pura Lila Ekatra Varnite. Swarup Damodar replied for Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī. He wanted to compose a drama about the pastimes of Lord Krishna. He planned to describe in one book both the pastimes of Vrindavan and those of Dwarka and Mathura. Arambichajila eve Prabhu Anya Panya Duinataka Koriteche Vibhagha Koriya. He began it in that way, but now, following the order of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he has divided it in two and is writing two plays. One concerning the pastimes of Mathura and Dwarka, and the other concerning the pastimes of Vrindavan. Vidagdha Madhava Ara Lila Lalita Madhava Dui Natake Prema Rasa Adabhuta Sava. The two plays are called Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. Both of them wonderfully describe ecstatic emotional love of Godhead. Purport. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur informed us in this connection that Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī composed the drama known as Vidagdha Madhava in the year Sakabtha 1454, and he finished Lalita Madhava in Sakabtha 1459. The discussion between Ramananda Roy and Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī at Jagannath Puri took place in Sakabtha 1437. And we're going to finish here for today. Jai Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki Jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Jai. I'm going to start reading from The Golden Volcano of Divine Love by His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Srila Deva Goswami Maharaj. And we are going to start with the introduction. Jai Srila Bhakti Srila Deva Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. The Golden Volcano of Divine Love ki Jai. Introduction. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu preached the full-fledged theistic conception given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam mainly deals with the comparative study of theism and the ontology of Krishna consciousness. It surpasses all other Vedic literature, even the Puranas. The Brahma Vaivarta Purana and Padma Purana represent the importance of devotion to Krishna through narration and history to some extent, but fall short of the philosophical and ontological standard set by the Mahapurana Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam can satisfy all Vedantic scholars, for it represents Krishna consciousness in its fullest dignity. Srimad Bhagavatam expounds as the highest attainment of theism, not consciousness, intelligence, or ontology, but ecstasy, beauty, and harmony, rasa. In Srimad Bhagavatam, rasa is all important. It is a unique treatise, for it takes theism from the plane of intellectual jugglery to the domain of rasa. I once began writing a book which was to be a summary study of the 18,000 verse Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhaktivinoda Thakur condensed the whole Bhagavad principle into 1,000 verses in his Bhagavartaka Marichi Mala. I had a mind to consolidate it even more, to represent it within 300 verses. I began that book but could not finish it. Srimad Bhagavatam is a vast treatise in the Sanskrit language, filled with essential information, historical reference, and expositions on the major schools of philosophy. In Srimad Bhagavatam, many minor points of history and geography are also mentioned, which, although non-essential, support its conclusions. Whatever is unnecessary in Srimad Bhagavatam is eliminated when its meaning reaches its purest and most intensified glory in the teachings of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So, if we are to consider the very gist of Srimad Bhagavatam, we must study the life and precepts of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Just as the teachings of the great author of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva, were percolated by the realizations of Sukadeva Gosvāmī, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam has been percolated by the life and precepts of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, because the teachings of Srimad Mahaprabhu represent the gist of Srimad Bhagavatam, I would like to include here one of the verses I originally composed to introduce my summary study. It glorifies the position of Gadadhar Pandit, the most intimate associate of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar Pandit used to read Srimad Bhagavatam in Jagannath Puri at the Tota Gopinath temple. He would read and Srimad Mahaprabhu and the great devotees like Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy were his audience. And there is a very long verse here, but I'm just going to read the translation. On the shore of the broad blue ocean, Gadadhar Pandit used to read Srimad Bhagavatam to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who was suffering from the great internal pain of separation from himself, Krishna. Gadadhar Pandit supplied the wine of Krishna-līlā to intoxicate his afflicted friend and give him relief. As he read, tears would fall from his eyes like flowers offerings onto the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. May the pleasure of that brilliant personality, Gadadhar Pandit, the best of the Goswāmīs, be my only object in writing this book. The title of this book is The Golden Volcano of Divine Love. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu felt a great pain of separation from Krishna, which burned like fire and was expressed as the Shikshastakam. This is explained in Prema Dhamma Devan Stotram 54. Siswa Rūpa Raya Sangha Gambirantya-līlā Nam Dvada Sabtha Vanhi Garva Vipralamba Silanam Radhika Dirudha Bhava Kanti Krishna Kunjaram Prema Dhamma Devaneva Nami Gaura Sundaram. Diving deep into the reality of his own beauty and sweetness, Krishna stole the mood of Radharani, and garbing himself in her brilliant luster, appeared as Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. For the last 12 years of his manifest pastimes, he was deeply absorbed in the mood of union and separation, and shared his heart's inner feelings with his most confidential devotees. In the agony of separation from Krishna, volcanic eruptions of ecstasy flow from his heart, and his teachings, known as Shikshastakam, appear from his lips like streams of golden lava. I fall at the feet of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the golden volcano of divine love. He was vomiting the fire of painful separation from Krishna in the form of the Shikshastakam. Therefore, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is compared to a golden volcano, and the Shikshastakam is compared to divine lava. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us that separation is the highest principle of in divinity. Just as the most intense conception of ecstasy is association with Krishna, the most intense conception of pain in separation is separation from Krishna. Yet, the pain felt from Krishna's separation is far more intense than the ecstasy felt from his association. Srimad Mahaprabhu says, "Can you understand the painful situation you are in? Your senses must have all been destroyed. Otherwise, you would have died from the pain of separation from Krishna. It is inconceivable. We belong to him wholesale. He's all in all to us, but we can't see him. We are forcibly separated from him. How can we tolerate this?" And Bhaktivinoda Thakur once said, "I can't tolerate separation from Krishna any longer. I can go on for only 3 or 4 more days, and then I should have to leave this body." To love Krishna means that we should have to die to live. In the beginning, divine love seemed like lava, death, but really it is nectar, life. Many persons in this ordinary world are also frustrated in love. They sometimes go mad and commit suicide because they can't tolerate the pain. But the pain which comes with separation from Krishna, although compared with lava, is not injurious like lava. Kaviraj Gosvāmī explains, "Vaje visaj vala hai, vitore anandamaya, Krishna premara adbhuta charita." The wonderful characteristic of divine love of Krishna is that although externally it works like fiery lava, internally it's like sweet nectar that fills the heart with the greatest joy. Although he felt the greatest pain of separation from Krishna, still within his heart, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu experienced the deepest ecstatic joy. The ecstatic symptoms manifested by Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu have never been found in the history of the world or even expressed in any scripture. In him we find the highest conception of the ultimate reality. This is explained in my Prema Dhamma Demana Stotram 66. Atma Siddha Sava Lila Purna Saukya Lakshanam Swanubhava Mata Nitya Kirtanatma Bantanam Advajaika Lakshya Purna Tattva Tat Parat Param Prema Dhamma Devanema Nami Gaura Sundaram. This is the all-conquering conclusion. The highest conception of the ultimate reality must also be the highest form of Ananda, ecstasy. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, ecstasy himself, tasting his own sweetness and dancing in ecstatic joy. His own holy name is the cause of his ecstasy, expressed as dancing, and the holy name is the effect of his ecstasy, expressed as chanting. The cause is the effect. The dynamo is creating ecstatic energy which makes him dance, and his chanting distributes that ecstasy to others. In this way, by every word from his lotus mouth and every gesture and movement of his beautiful golden figure, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu performed his ecstatic pastimes of divine love. And that is the introduction by Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Gosvāmī Maharaj about this book. And in this book also is the 6 Shastakam prayers, which Guru Maharaj was talking about. And we are going to start tomorrow during Kartik time. Tomorrow is the beginning of Kartik, very special month of the month of Srimati Radharani. And we will sing the songs of the Kartik month from tomorrow morning. Very auspicious month. So we invite everybody to come and join us. Jai Shri Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Gosvāmī Maharaj ki Jai. the golden volcano of divine love ki jai. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhar ki jai. Please chant Hari Haraja Nama Krishna.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopala Govindaram Srimadhusudaram.
Gopala Govindaram Srimadhusudaram.
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana.
Giridhari Gopinath Madana
Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Antya-līlā. Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Rūpa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha. Jai Gosvāmī Kari Charana Vandana. Sahamute Vignena Shabisha Purana. Jai Gosvāmī Jana Muri Torodas. Dasabara Padarenu Mura Panchakras. Sadena Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanebhas. Janami Janami Mura Dehi Abhidan. Jai Gosvāmī Kori Braja Kailavas. Radha Krishna Antya-līlā Kori Prakash. Ananda Guru Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majiye Yaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Koriyas. Hari Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottama Das. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
jai. Jamuni Shri Bhakti Roko Shri Gosvāmī ki jai. Jamuni Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Shri Rūpa Guru Varga ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta London chapter ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Sri Acharya Vrinda ki jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai. Śrīla Krishna Das Kaviraj Swami Prabhu ki jai. Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Tulasi Devi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Anati Koti Vaisa Vrinda ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Jai to all the devotees worldwide ki jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande